Hey, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm gonna talk about top 5
best frozen dessert makers.
Starting at number 5.
Cuisinart ICE 100. Most ice cream makers can freeze a batch in an hour or less. If you don't count the full day, the bowl has to chill beforehand. Yes, you could keep the bowl in the freezer, but it takes up a lot of space. The Cuisinart ICE 100 has an onboard compressor, which means there's no pre-freezing required. It lets you make ice cream on a whim whenever you'd like, but the trade-off is that compressor ice cream makers are quite a bit more expensive than units with a basic motor and a freezable bowl. The Cuisinart ICE 100 is a great base-level compressor unit, a workhorse that freezes a quart-and-a-half batch in an hour or less. Its single churning speed is fairly slow, which was a good thing in our sorbet test. We got a very smooth and fruit-forward strawberry sorbet, and it was ready in 41 minutes. The manual recommends a full hour for sorbet. We were monitoring the machine and decided to stop it early. With ice cream, we got to a soft serve-like consistency in 36 minutes, and then we tossed in the Oreo crumbles to mix in thoroughly in about 30 seconds. Both test batches firmed up to a more scoopable texture after a couple of hours in the freezer, though freezing overnight produced some significant ice crystals.
Coming at number 4.
Nostalgia Electric Ice. Nostalgia 4-quart electric ice cream maker review. Long ago, even before the freezer was invented, it was still possible to make ice cream at home. You just needed a bucket of ice and salt, a hand crank, and lots of muscle power. The salt is there to melt the ice and lower the freezing point of the liquid. This machine replicates that method, complete with a wooden bucket, though it thankfully electrifies the crank part. The Nostalgia model is fun for its, well, nostalgia, but it also features a huge capacity of up to a gallon of ice cream per batch. While we tested this ice cream maker, we found that you need to get the salt and ice layering just right for best results, which is unfortunate as there aren't very specific instructions included on how much of each to use. We'd suggest starting with at least 8 pounds of ice and 3 cups of salt, and make sure the interior container is flush with the bottom as you load up ice and salt around the sides. We got pretty good results in both of our tests, with lots of sorbet and ice cream that tasted great but were a bit soft and inconsistent in texture. The contraption did a great job mixing in the cookie bits evenly and thoroughly, although it's a bit of a pain to stop and detach the motor, add the mix-ins, and then put it back on again.
At number 3.
Breville Smart Scoop. Breville Smart Scoop Ice Cream Maker Review. If you're ready to get serious about making ice cream, the Smart Scoop offers lots of functionality for its steep price tag. Most importantly, it has its own compressor, just like a full-size freezer or air conditioner, and chills the bowl while it churns. After the ice cream is done, it'll even hold it at the perfect scooping temperature for up to 3 hours. You can pre-freeze the bowl just like with other models, but you can also set the machine to chill the bowl for you while you prepare your ice cream or sorbet base. And you don't have to worry about refreezing the bowl between batches, which is a boon as the machine can only make about a quart at a time, and a batch can take nearly an hour to freeze. When it comes to settings, the Smart Scoop offers pinpoint control. There are 12 different hardness settings calibrated for different types of frozen desserts, whether you need a scoop of vanilla that will hold up in a root beer float or a softer sorbet to cannelle atop a slice of pie. Internal thermometers measure the mixture, with the internal compressor adjusting to make sure the temperature stays just right. Unfortunately, there aren't speed settings and no slower churn for gelato.
Number 2 of my list.
Cuisinart Ice Cream. Cuisinart ICE 21 our ice cream and sorbet maker review. The Cuisinart ICE 21 may not have all the bells and whistles of higher-end models, but it's fully automatic and can deliver quality homemade ice cream in 20 minutes, at an excellent price. The process is simple and designed to be mess-free. The double-insulated freezer bowl fits into the base, the mixing paddle fits into that, and the plastic cover holds everything together. You pour in your base mixture, and as the bowl spins, the paddle scrapes a layer of frozen material off the interior wall, incorporating it back into the mixture. After about 20 minutes, you get fully churned ice cream. To add mix-ins, You just toss them into the bowl when the batch is almost done spinning. There's only one setting, one blade, and no timers to worry about. In testing, our ice cream and sorbet both had even textures, albeit a bit softer and more soft-serve-like than some other machines. Sticking the finished products in the freezer for a couple of hours firmed them up, but they retained their smoothness and scoopability. The main catch, though, is that you need a pre-frozen bowl, and this machine's is pretty bulky. If you want to be able to make ice cream at the drop of a hat, it has to live in the freezer all the time, and it'll take up a lot of room. This model has a smaller capacity than some of Cuisinart's other ice cream makers, so be mindful of batch size when you're following recipes and scale down accordingly. We didn't do the math quite right and got a little overflow in one test. Also, none of the parts are dishwasher.
And number 1.
Cuisinart ice cream. The ICE70 makes a whopping 2 quarts of ice cream per batch and has a simple control panel with an LCD screen that's easy to read. There are settings for ice cream, gelato, or sorbet, which control the speed of the mixing paddle. The time is automatically set for each option but can be adjusted manually, as well. During testing, it churned out a perfectly creamy soft serve texture in 25 minutes and true ice cream in 30. When time is up, the machine automatically shuts off. The unique gelato setting was a standout for us, due to its slower churn, one of the hallmarks of genuine gelato. In testing, the Cuisinart outperformed similar freezer bowl models by a wide margin. It was incredibly easy to set up once the bowl was frozen, and it created velvety, smooth ice cream. The lid has a removable cup for measuring up to half a cup of addance, and when the cup is removed, there's a handy hole for pouring those ingredients into the ice cream. We liked being able to mix items in without removing the lid, and the upright compact design made this easy to store. It is lightweight enough to move around the kitchen. This machine's paddle was also a standout. When we mixed M&Ms into a batch of ice cream, they became evenly distributed through the mix. The paddle and freezer bowl were both simple to wash by hand with warm, soapy water.
Check out this video description for latest price and more informations. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe and stay tuned.